What does it mean that God's the potter? And what does that mean for us? And what I want you to understand, and I think what understanding that God is the potter in this story of the potter and the clay in Jeremiah, it's this, that you and I, we are not the best ones to evaluate the direction of our lives, because we can't see the entirety of it. We can't see what God sees. And so when we say that God's the potter, we are acknowledging that the potter, God knows what he's making. And maybe we don't, because the reality is, if God created you and he called you, he knows exactly what he's shaping you into. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are not a mistake. You are in process in the hands of the master craftsman, and he's forming you into what he sees of you. If a potter was actually doing this and not just me mangling this thing if he was doing it on a wheel, right, he'd have to put pressure in certain spots so that it would shape and form to what the potter wants. And sometimes that pressure is probably applied to our lives in places we wish God wouldn't put pressure into our lives, right? As he's molding us and shaping us, he's revealing and putting pressure on old wounds, maybe hidden sins or broken dreams. And the shaping process implies that there's pressure applied. But he's not doing that out of punishment, but rather purpose and love. Remember, at moments of your life, when it feels like hope's lost, when it feels like you've gone too far, when there is no more hope, you just feel like you've royally screwed it up beyond the ability for God to do anything with you, is that God doesn't throw away clay. He wants to reshape and remold you if you will let him. The question is not, can God shape me? The question is, will you let him shape you? We are the clay. We are dependent and moldable and trusting our Father. When our heart is tender before God, he can shape us. He can guide us. He can correct us. He can convict us. He can comfort us. But if not, it won't work. Our job is to stay soft to God. I took this off last week and kind of made it flat, and then I just left it out all week, right? And it was just been sitting on my desk this whole week. And this is dried out clay. And if I try to work this or mold this, it just breaks. It just cracks. It can't be molded. It can't be worked. It just breaks, right? Because hardened clay can't be shaped. And that's what happens to our hearts. This is the illustration that God wanted. That's what happens to our hearts when we don't stay moldable. And friends, there's a lot of people who have allowed their hearts to get hard. There's a lot of people who are Christians who have, at one point in their walk, were moldable. At one point in their walk with the Lord, when they started out, they said, God, shape me. I want to be who you want me to be. But then over time, they've just allowed themselves to just sit out and grow hard and hard-hearted. And there's, sadly, Christians who kind of look like this, who no longer can be shaped by God. And God comes to them and says, God comes and says, I'm trying to do a new thing. So maybe the question for some of you today is, am I soft clay still? Or have I allowed my heart to get hard and brittle? Maybe it's bitterness or disappointment. Maybe it's sin that's you're holding on to. Whatever it is, you stop and allow God to soften our hearts again, to mix with the living water of the Holy Spirit of God. Because I believe fully that that although this clay right here, this may be toast. We can't do anything, but I believe this. The living water of the Spirit of God in our lives can take even hardened clay and make it moldable again. The question again will be, will you let him? Will you let him? When we come to God, even when we've royally screwed it all up, we recognize that he can take what is hard and make it soft again, if we'll let him. And it's not just a Sunday morning experience. It's a day-by-day journey and a walk with God and a heart posture that says, God, I want to be molded by you. Today, shape me and create me into the person that you want me to be. Some of you, it's just, you're in a season where God is trying to shape you. And you're like, I don't like it. I don't like it because there's pressure being applied and there's motion and I don't like that. Stay soft, stay centered, stay surrendered, right? Some of you are in, maybe even the harsh reality has set in that you've gotten hard. Maybe you didn't even realize it until recently. And you're like, man, what can I do now? Allow the living water, the Spirit of God, to begin to soften your heart again so that you can be molded by him.